Okie dokie, okie dokie. We are taking this test on Thursday at the end of the day, if you want, or Friday in regular class if you want. And then a few of you have talked to me about special accommodations because of trips and stuff you're taking before school, and when are good times. All right, let me just tell you everything we got, so it's fair. And then if you know how to do it and do it right in the test, it's fair. And if you get it wrong, oops, you got it wrong. All right, so there's where we're at. The z-score formula will be on the test given to you. You do not need to memorize it. This z-score is your data minus the mean over the standard deviation. And I believe those of you that have been keeping up will believe that the basic question is easy if it says find the z-score if you got a data score of 38, if the mean, and you need to know x bar means mean, and the word mean means mean, and if that was 36, and if the standard deviation was 7. All right, and please just remember that this is in fact an easy question. We know this part, this part, this part from all of your mathematical training. Write the formula down. We don't have the z, so we keep it as a letter. Do we have the data? We do have the data. Minus the mean, which is 36, over the standard deviation, which is 7. I chose every single question to tell you what I want it rounded to. So you don't have to, because I know sometimes I don't do a good job, and you come back during the test. All right. Calculator, 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 calculator. There's 4 calculators on my desk. I believe this z-score will go to the hundredths. This z-score will go to the hundredths. So it is simply 2 divided by 7. And the z-score to the hundredths would be 0.29. If it asks simply what is the z-score, that is simply what you do. If it says the percentile, we get out our sheet, which there are some back on my desk. If you didn't come back that time, you will come back to 0.29. You will remember, please, half the page or one of the sides is negative. Do you know when you use the negative signs? When it's negative, excellent, excellent. That's when you use the negative ones. When it's positive, 0.29, 0.29 comes up to be 0.6103. If I say to the nearest percentile, you move the decimal once, twice, and you'd say 61st percentile. If I would say to the nearest tenth of a percentile, 61.0 percentile. And if I said to the nearest hundredths, it'd be 61.03 percentile. And that we're getting off of our sheets. I will tell you exactly on the test what I want you to round it to. Cool. All right. Could be a question that would be this. Your family likes you to be to the 70th percentile. So look here for 70th percentile, please. The first one over 70. The first one over 70. And I see that as a z-score of 0.53. Do I see that correctly? The first one over the 7th. So your parents want you to be over the 70th percentile. So you need a z-score of 53. It's a test maybe like an ACT test or something like this. And on the ACT test, they will tell you that the mean is 24 and the standard deviation is 2.1. All right. So many of you have taken ACTs. You talk in terms of score. I got a 24. You got a 23. You got a 27. You got a 29. And you know how they say that goes on your permanent record? I'm actually having it like on the gravestone my gravestone when I die, it's like, ACT score 18. So it's like on my permanent record, so it'll be there. Okay? So, your family wants you to get a Z-score of 53 because that was the 70th percentile. You go to the ACT website and it says here, what score do you need? So, here's our formula. Under the Z, we have a number. So we're writing 0.53 equals, what score do you know? I don't know, I'm just a kid. How am I supposed to? Okay, put an X there since you don't know. The mean is 24. Your standard deviation is 2.1. All of a sudden, forget about Z-scores, percentiles. Think to yourself, golly jeepers, I'm back in Algebra 1. Take both sides times 2.1. Both sides times 2.1. And that clears off the fractions. Both sides times 2.1. Use all your decimals as you go. 2.1. 1.113. As you're in the middle of the problem, please use all your decimals. And add 24 to both sides. Can do that without a calculator. Your exact answer would be you need a score of 25.113. I'd accept that. I suppose you'd need to get a 26 if you'd want to make them happy at home. All right, Z-score, Z-score, okay, Excellent, excellent, excellent. All right. Good? Okay. Now we're adding the weighting to this. W-E-I-G-H-T-ing. We're adding the weighting to it. So you're taking 2 scores for job placement. Test A has a mean of 400 and a standard deviation of 17. There's another test B, has a mean of 36 with a standard deviation of 4. So this might be, for example, if you're trying to be an electrician, this would be the written test, how do you know what to do? And this might be the physical test, actually making things and hope they don't go boom. All right? You are allowed, no, you're not allowed, you will weight your best score at 75% and your lowest score at 25%. So whichever one you do better on, you're allowed to give that a 75%. So when you give your average percentile, the best one's going to help more. Z-score, I erased the formula, but you remember it from a minute ago. I suggest writing it as Z and put a little A so you remember it. All right, so let's see. On test A, you got a 408, and on test B, you got a 38. All right, so Z-score on A, your data minus the mean over the standard deviation. Z-scores, because our table goes to the nearest hundredth, we'll go to the 100th. So the nearest 100th, this Z-score is 0.47. I suggest labeling it nicely. Your Z-score of part B is you got a 38 over 4. That's easy. That equals 0.5. All right. So the Z-scores, I know we're just talking about how to do things now, but the Z-scores, that gives you a percentile. Well, the best you did was the 0.5, so you would like to weight this heavier before you tell the people you're applying to the job your score. So here we go. So now we're going to take your best Z-score of 0.5 and take that times 75%. We'll take your next best Z-score, 0.47, and take that times 25%. We'll use all the stinking decimals we can get out of that. Your Z average is 0.4925. Your boss would like you to give, or the people you're applying to the job would like you to give the answer in percentile. So we're looking for the closest to 0.4925. And I guess it's 0.49 is what we can do. That's our best. 49 is 0.6. I lost it. 879. If I'd say to the nearest tenth of a percentile, it would be you're at the 68.8 percentile. And those are the Z-score reviews. Those are the Z-score reviews. Anybody want, I mean, we're practicing all day tomorrow too. But anyone want me to do any more Z-scores? Cool, I'm stopping this recording because